Gila. You're here, headmaid. Is the young master not here? Edel thinks. Look at the young mistress. Isn't she utterly lovely? Even the lady herself is enchanted by her. She recalls a past incident where the lady had been angry with Misa's maids. If you've come here to watch, then simply do so. Don't dare to speak of unnecessary actions. Edil thinks to herself, but from a certain point, she seems to lose her logic a lot when dealing with her, just like she used to deal with her daughter, Lady Rosine. Misa takes off a necklace and laughs. Gila. Oh, my young mistress. Edel thinks. What am I to do about this? The young master and the mistress, it can't be denied that neither of them are in their right minds because of this woman. Eric and Misa are playing with water on a table. Misa. Eric, I want to go out. Eric. Why do you want to go out? Misa. I heard from the book that Gila was reading that there are a lot of people in the streets. Eric. Do you want to visit the poor neighborhoods? Misa. Also, I heard that there are shops selling goods lined up side by side without gardens. All the shopping streets are like that, aren't they? Eric. Thinks about her request. Misa. Am I not allowed to go? I really want to see it. Eric looks at her uncertain. The next day, Talisa. In that case, will you take a carriage to drive her around the city? Eric. Yes, I just want to take her for a short ride. Talisa. Misa might get very worried if she wakes up. She might think you're taking her to an unknown place. Eric. It's okay. I'm with her. Talisa. Nevertheless, then take Gila with you. It's better to have two instead of one to take care of things. Eric. No, really, it's okay. Talisa. Nevertheless, just in case, it would be good to take her with you. Eric. After a pause. That makes sense. To Gila. Gila, come with us too. Once they reach the market, Eric drops off Gila. Gila. 3 hours? Eric. Yes, I'll go out for a while and come back here in time. Gila. I understand. She thinks to herself, I have a break, and that's good, but... Eric. Is there anything else? Sheila. No? Well, I'll be back on time. Eric. Then see you later. Gila. Worried. I hope the young mistress is all right. Eric opens the curtains and wakes Misa. Eric. Misa, wake up now. Misa wakes up, looks out the window, and exclaims, Wow, it's amazing. Eric. This is the busiest street. There are indeed a lot of people here, just like Gila said. The white building on the hill there is the temple where we had our party. Do you remember? Misa. Sad. I don't remember. Because of the sedative. Eric. Thinking she's never gone out while being fully conscious until now. For me, it's just a familiar sight. But for Misa, it seems like a surprisingly amazing scene. Misa. What's that place there? Eric. Thinking. I'm curious about that too, but maybe it's better not to disturb her now. I hope this day becomes a beautiful memory for her. A memory she'll cherish for a long time. Misa. Pointing. I've been curious for a while. What's that over there? Eric. That's a mobile food cart. They sell goods from carts that are usually not of the best quality. Misa. Surprised. Not of high quality? Even if it doesn't look good to someone demanding? She turns to him and asks, Can it still be usable? Here's what Eric said to Mesa. Because the young men who used to hunt and farm had been at war for 12 years and then returned all at once. And it's very difficult to suddenly prepare food to feed more than 17 men within the territory. Then he thought to himself, Mesa has a serious misunderstanding. And from sitting on my lap and secretly looking at various documents all this time, it seems she has understood in her little head that Claudine is not in a good financial situation, and it's hard to imagine her concentrating on reading complex documents, and considering that she sometimes didn't know simple words and asked questions. However, considering that all her standards were set according to the royal palace, It is logical that she might have misunderstood the situation, especially with the added problem of food shortages. Then he continued and told her, because of the war, the volumes of trade of merchants also decreased, and tax collection was greatly reduced. And there was also a temporary shortage of excess funds, but this problem has already been solved. Now everyone has resumed their livelihoods, so there will be no problem after this harvest season. Then he thought to himself, she must have a deep misunderstanding, or perhaps, maybe she felt that something was missing, and here he said to her, by the way, it's just that my parents hate luxurious things, so we don't have anything fancy at home. We now have 3 iron mines within the territory, and trade continues through the northern seaports. Moreover, the blue fox fur, which is only hunted in the borderlands, is one of our main sources of income. But he suddenly told her, no, forget what I just said. Then he thought to himself, feeling anxious, the more I talk, when Mesa asked, why? Eric continued thinking to himself, what should I do? It feels like I'm bragging about my wealth to impress my lover. So he told her nervously, nothing. I didn't mean to cause you any worry. Was there anything uncomfortable during your stay at the castle? Mesa grabbed him and said in surprise, uncomfortable? Then she looked away and said, no, there was nothing uncomfortable. It's just, I thought there was a shortage of food and saved the snacks little by little. If I had known, I would have eaten my fill. Eric was shocked by what she said and exclaimed, oh my God! Then he went to get her snacks and told the guard the door of the carriage. And he said, yes, young sir. And Eric warned him, don't open the door under any circumstances. The guard said, of course. Don't worry about it. And he left, leaving Mesa asleep in the carriage as she thought about what Eric had told her after she told him she was hungry. He had told her at the time, there's a candy shop near the intersection. I'll pick up some things you might like, but you have to stay quiet inside the carriage in the meantime. Then she thought to herself, so his family isn't poor. I was foolish. It's funny even to me. And she remembered from her past, saying, actually, the place where I used to live was Celia's small castle, and I only have memories of being dragged to the central castle. And despite that, my standards were always high. Even when I was treated worse than an animal, I still carried a sense of pride as a member of the royal family. And without that, I would have felt like I would have nothing in the future. But the peaceful life I longed for only came after I was no longer a member of the royal family. And she looked at Eric from the window, feeling happy, and continued thinking to herself, this marriage that I feared so much, is it really like this? I never would have expected it to bring such a peaceful daily life. Suddenly, she was startled when she heard someone say, that's the Claudine family crest. So she quickly closed the curtains and said, what? Then the people around recognized Eric's family crest on the carriage and gathered around it, saying to each other, ah, he's already gone into the shop. I didn't even get a good look. He was strikingly handsome. Another man said, this is the first time I've seen him up close. Mesa thought to herself, are they all talking about him? Another girl said, this is the first time he's shown himself in the capital. And another said, yes, this is his first appearance as an adult, so it's no surprise. With that appearance, it's impossible not to be the subject of rumors. Mesa listened to them nervously as they continued. No, I heard that Maria's sister, who married into the Count's family, saw him once on her wedding day. But young Master Claudine is completely different from all the other notable nobles. Mesa focused on this phrase, remarkably different, and thought to herself, do they mean he's so extraordinary that it's impossible not to spread rumors about him? And the girls laughed and said, in short, he's a breathtakingly handsome man with no equal. Mesa didn't understand and said nervously, what? A breathtaking man? Then she looked out the window and thought to herself, people say he's breathtaking to look at, and it's unbelievable. Everyone is so admiring of him. She continued listening to what they were saying. If he hadn't turned things around at the last minute, we might have lost the war. Yes, if it weren't for him, our home city might have turned into a sea of fire. Oh my God, just thinking about it is terrifying. Mesa thought to herself, so he's the hero of the victory. Now I understand why people are shouting for him so much and their faces are shining with a feeling called awe. Then she heard them whispering, "Do you know about this?" "What? Is this really true?" "Shh. If you talk about it, you could be accused of blasphemy. I heard it by chance." No wonder the security was so tight on National Wedding Day. Mesa was shocked when she heard them say, "So you didn't know they held the national wedding under such circumstances? What a pity, I can't believe it. Do we have the right to pity the heir of such a great noble family?" And at that moment, Eric arrived with the sweets, and the people started clapping for him, saying, "Let's get a good look at his face up close, here he comes." And Mesa said, looking at them, "The moment he appeared, one thing caught my attention. Amidst the cheering crowd, those expressions are more familiar to me, because I always received such looks from people whenever I was with Eric." She closed the curtains and continued, "I feel like an invisible force has hit my head. When Eric opened the carriage door, he said, 'Did you wait long?' I was worried because people were suddenly pushing, but she didn't answer him and thought to herself, 'There's no sign of discomfort on his face. I see he must be used to such a reception.' When he sat beside her, he told her, 'I ended up with this big box because I chose a lot of things,